Hello, my name's Hope, and I am an INTJ on the internet. I am continuing to take Enneagram tests, and I am not afraid to take a test with a man's face on it. This guy in particular, greeting us off the bat with a wizard and clapping emoji. I don't know about this, Marshall, but yeah, we'll try it. A fast, easy, free Enneagram test. Sure, why not? We'll just get to it. I'm more likely to feel frustrated and disappointed or anxious and uncertain. I'm probably more in the camp of feeling frustrated and disappointed in people whenever they actually suck. Because I think I'm more prone to being a little bit more positive or forgiving. I'm holding back my judgment or opinion on people until their patterns bear out over time. And then once you hit a certain point of pattern recognition and the person fails your optimism, you're a little disappointed, you're a little frustrated. It happens with tasks, with people, with scenarios, situations, that sort of things. I don't know if it's a common INTJ experience to feel frustrated and disappointed, but sure, maybe. Maybe I'm representative, I don't know. 2, I am driven toward being emotionally supportive to those around me, personal success and accomplishment. Yeah, that's like a classic feeling versus thinking question, like an FE versus TE. One of the things that I probably still need to work on is trusting my own decisions and being more secure around others, or being in the present moment without thinking ahead to the next fun thing. Yeah, that's a common NI issue. I am often uncertain about the right decision to make. I make decisions with boldness and confidence. Both of these things are true. It depends on what stage you are in the decision-making process, right? If it's early on, it's going to be uncertainty. And then you research and sort of like try to envision exactly what the best way forward is going to be. And then you make decisions with boldness and confidence. It's not all happening at once. It's a process to get there. Go with the second one. I often feel confident about my conclusions, doubt my own mind. Yeah, I'll go with confidence here because a lot leads up to it. See, look, I understand. Marshall is out here trying to make money, and that makes sense. You know, if you perceive you have some sort of skill or something, I can understand. Let's take the free version. Sometimes I don't pay enough attention to myself and my own needs, others and their needs. Probably don't pay enough attention to other people. Like, I feel like they probably need to tell me their needs. I don't want to guess at them and then guess wrong. When it comes to taking action, I often feel confident about the correct way of going about it, have a hard time making up my mind because there's so many things to consider. Yeah, the TE confidence of the INTJ. Well, it's NITE together, kind of feels confident. I tend to focus on finding the right way to do things, the most efficient way to do things. Isn't the most efficient way also the right way? Says an INTJ. When I speak about a problem I am having with others, I get emotional and nervous about it. I feel strong inside. Probably emotional about it. I don't want to be having conflict with others, especially if I really care about them. For most of my life, I've leaned more towards being serious, focused, self-disciplined, spontaneous, adventurous, and free-spirited. Probably the first one. I tend to be able to detect gaps in others' thinking, sense what other people are feeling, more of the thinking side. One of my natural assets is moving quickly from thinking about something to doing it. I have to admit that sometimes I can let my feelings get in the way of getting things done more than I would like to. While the second one can be true, it's usually more on the decisive side. When others are feeling sad, I tend to help them by offering a rational view, a positive view. Rational pragmatist over here. I have tended to place an importance on developing myself in ways to contribute to success, sensing deep emotional truths. Yeah. When others push me, I'm more likely to show my irritation and annoyance by pushing back and point out other people's wrong way of doing things, become silent and disengaged and resist by not participating. Probably the second one. I'm just gonna be like, it's not worth my time, is probably more of what it is. When I get upset, I feel the need to tell someone about it. I don't show my irritation very often. I'd rather not bother people about it. I'll process it on my own. When talking to new people, I tend to observe the way they think, to see what they know, to see if they are safe and can be trusted. A little bit of both, but I'm really curious about what they know. When people see me fail, it affects me deeply and can even make me feel humiliated and rejected. I don't pay much attention to what others think of me. In this respect, whenever it comes to competence and demonstration of competence, an INTJ will be deeply hurt if people see them fail. It's not something we can't recover from, but it is painful. It is a form of suffering, to be sure. When I get anxious, I have an increased need to feel that others need me and depend upon me. Ugh. I go through some worst case scenarios, probably more the second. When I'm angry, I feel it more through resentment, irritation, or annoyance. It is clear and visible to the people around me, either directly or by being stone cold. It's probably more the stone cold version. I also don't tend to get angry, per se. I can get annoyed, but not typically angry. And so I have annoyance and I have rage. But anger, I don't typically do anger. It's too impulsive. I'm driven toward being emotionally supportive to those around me, personal success and accomplishment. Probably the second one. Others would probably say I need to speak my mind less often or more often. Sometimes I withdraw from situations because it's not worth my time or effort. Throughout my life, I have tended to give too much attention to my fearful and vulnerable side, not enough attention. Probably not enough attention, probably over-regulate my emotions, sure. I have a natural tendency toward seeing the negative realities that others don't want to face, thinking that problems have a way of working themselves out. It's like internally definitely seeing the negative realities, and because I have sort of a view or scope of negative realities, what you can do is actually think through things even further, like take another step past the negative realities and see all of the realities, and then try to maneuver to get the best reality. That's what you got to do with the multiverse. You got to maneuver yourself through it. I have tended to express my emotions, keep my emotions to myself. Second one. I try to get really close and personal with those I care about. Give the people I care about plenty of space. Yeah. Give people space. When people struggle, I feel their pain and my need to help them. I understand their persistence and I respect them for it. Oh yeah, I respect people. I tend to be self-controlled and reserved with my range of daily emotional experiences. I'm just not even going to read the other one. I prefer to figure things out along the way, have a plan and system for doing things. A little bit of both. Probably more on the planning side. I'm an energetically motivated person with a can-do self-starter attitude. I can be successful if I want, but others have also tended to help keep me motivated and on track. I'm very self-motivated. Generally, I try to be different from others. I don't try to be different from others. I don't try, but I am. Being positive and happy most of the time doesn't seem to be authentic to me. It's something I have placed high importance on. I think there's a way to be positive and happy most of the time. I think people can do it authentically. Now, I've seen too much in the world of people not doing it authentically, so, I mean, there's that as well. Throughout my life, I have felt the need to be competent in my performance and achievements, my skills of thinking and analyzing. Both, but definitely analyzing, for sure. I rely on my carefully thought out ideas to persuade others, sometimes over-planning what to say. My confidence and strength are a big factor in bringing people together for a common purpose. Neither? Probably more of thought out ideas. I don't feel like I overplan what to say. Usually what I say is very like authentically just like coming straight from the source of originating in that moment, like the actual speech part of it. The ideas themselves have been cultivated over time, but I don't plan out the wording of what I'm going to say. If you do plan out or overplan things, then you sound kind of stiff and inauthentic, so you want to try to avoid that. I tend to attract attention when I'm around others, keep to myself around others, keep to myself. I have tended to show the side of me that is expressive and mysterious, commanding, daring, and practical. Let's say practical. I tend to express my feelings and emotions readily, keep my feelings and emotions to myself. Yep, gonna keep them to myself. When I think about the future, I tend to be watchful of the realistic downsides of what could happen, for sure. Look ahead to a variety of positive possibilities that can take place. I would be more watchful of realistic downsides. Honestly, what you could do is you could set your bar low and then just be really happy and excited when things work out really well for you. Isn't that better than to be so overly excited or expectant and then have something fall flat or fail you, and then you're like deeply, deeply, deeply disappointed? I tend to focus on others' needs more than my own. my own needs more than the needs of others. Probably my own, because I can't always read other people's needs, and I don't think people should be in charge of themselves, I guess. If I'm in charge of people, I tend to prefer taking a visible leadership role since I am highly effective at getting things done efficiently, making sure everybody's work experience is enjoyable. I guess if I'm going to be a leader, then it needs to have the authority behind it. I'm not signing up to be a leader because I don't want to be a leader. I'm not signing up to be a leader if I don't have the power and authority that goes along with it. Like, if people aren't going to listen to me, if I don't have the status behind it, then there's no point to being a leader. It's like corralling cats or children. When the going gets tough, I start feeling like it's time to move on to find something else that's less painful and more enjoyable. I feel especially stronger than ever and ready to tough it out. I don't think either of those are true. I think you just kind of deal with the circumstances you have and make the best decisions you can. So maybe it's that one. Okay, so the results are going to give the 3 strongest types based on the answers, which is good, honestly, because actually a test that I really prefer, it's called the Enneagram Tri-Type. So read through the descriptions, then figure out which one is the strongest for you. I've taken the Enneagram Tri-Type, and 5, 9, and 3 are my strongest for sure. So type 5, yeah, curiosity, clarity, understanding, simplification. Most INTJs are type 5 Enneagrams, and then it's just like, do the wings mean anything to you? You know, do you subscribe to the wings? Am I more unique 4, or am I more like anxious problem solver 6? You know, like 5, 5, 4, 5, 6. You can tell I don't put a huge amount of stock in Enneagram. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone out there. Sorry, Marshall. Any subjects, objectivity, perceptivity, and insight, focus, ingenuity. I do agree with these things. Achilles heel. The fear of being overwhelmed and unprepared for life. I think that's fair. Overwhelm. Yeah, I have a problem with overwhelm, but I try to manage that as best as I can. That's why I seem weird to people, because I'm managing the overwhelm. So let's see, social isolation, lost in thought, overthinking, minimizing needs. Yeah, I tend to minimize my own needs, for sure. I don't have the arrogance problem. Maybe I'm just, a woman. So I'm more well balanced than men are. I think that's unfair gendering. Never mind, I take it back. I'm not particularly argumentative. Stingy. I am a dragon. I will hoard gold. It's because I gotta manage my resources so that I can accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish. Okay, type 3 is the achievement, ambitious focused, and type 3s are probably more likely going to be ENTJs. I could see INTJs with very strong TE falling into this category as well, for sure. Focus, confidence, motivation, achievement, presentation, perseverance, efficiency. Yeah, it sounds like an ENTJ. I think ENTJs would make really great 3s, or would be in that group. Probably ESTJs too, really TE dominant types, or maybe even TE in the second slot. I don't know, maybe an overly ambitious ISTJ, sure. But, sometimes extroverted feeling in the workspace, in the work environment, can behave like extroverted thinking, especially with something like a really strong NI or SI backing it up. So I could also see other EJ types being type 3s, Type 9, yeah, I mean, my conflict avoidance is deeply rooted in my my youth and my family structure, and the fact that my brother is an ESTP, and the conflict between the constant antagonism and conflict between my brother and my mom, I think really resulted to these more 9ish tendencies, where it's like peacekeeping, it's avoidant, it's staying out of the fray, it's not my circus kind of attitude. But I don't quite have as much the laziness or inertia problems. Very self-forgetting, passive, probably. They don't even describe it. That's laziness. I don't have resentment or stubbornness, so I don't have those problems. I do have some 9 tendencies, and that is related to my family environment when I was younger. And then I think Type 3 and type 5 are just my INTJ-ness for sure. Marshall, this is an okay test for a free offering. I do like that it gives you your top 3, I suppose. And then if you're someone who is the type who likes to decide things for themselves after mulling over a lot of details, like myself, then perhaps you can come to the conclusion of what type you really are. I think Enneagram is a little bit clearer about what type you possibly are. Categories are a little bit broad. They don't usually map out to the MBTI either way. So I don't think you can really intermix them, just like you can't intermix MBTI and socionics, as I found out. They are also very distinctly different systems. But, you are your own person, regardless of which lens or system is viewing you. So you are the constant. You are the object that is being examined. So it's not that your personality is jumping around and stuff like that. Like, yes, you can improve along like a central line or tendency over time, sure. A trend line of development and growth, yes. But if you're getting different results and you're zigzagging all over the place, then that's just poor test. That's just poor testing. And that's the hazard of doing these sort of self-given tests. But you can run into similar problems with other people trying to type you. Other people who consider themselves to be experts are just as fallible. So ultimately, I would say I don't think you're ever going to get the objective truth. You're never going to see yourself fully. All you can do is try to see yourself from every different angle possible. And the amalgamation of all of that as you process it may or may not be who you are, but ultimately that doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter who you are, What matters is, are you able to glean enough information and tools in order to move forward with your life and tackle some things you have identified as issues and improve and do better? Are you able to feel like you are improving? The application, the tool set to cope with and handle your existence. That is ultimately what's most important. I can't really care about the objective truth because I may never be able to see it. As human beings, we're flawed. We might never be able to see what objective reality looks like. So the best I can do is all of these different frameworks and tests to geolocate that or triangulate it in some way. And I feel like that's what a lot of how INTJs typically handle personality. Anyway, that wraps it up for this video. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, wherever that day may find you. Even if that day finds you taking highly complicated subjects and simplifying them. That's such an introverted intuition thing. Yeah, so go out and simplify some really complex situations, but don't be reductive. Be nuanced.